good evening, everybody. It's good to see you back one more time. And how have you been doing? Good. How about the rest of you? Anybody noticing downward trends in blood sugars? 1, 2, 3. You're not checking sugars. Okay.
Nope.
How about blood pressure? Anyone notice blood pressure coming down? Yes? Yes? Lowest tonight. Woohoo. Well, that's good news. Okay. So, yeah, we're happy about that. All right. How about fiber? How many people met their fiber goal this week? Yes? 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 Okay. Very good. And weight. How are we doing? Since the beginning of the program, do we have anybody here that's lost more than 5 pounds? Yes, yes. Very good. And anybody lost 10 or more? 9. Very good. Okay. So we're close to the 10 pounds. So that's
1 to 2 pounds a week. That's good.
Yep, 1 to 2 pounds a week. It just puts us right where we want you to be. And so that really would be, if you're 4 pounds or more right now, you're just doing just fine. Just fine. Because right at first we allow you to gain a couple pounds and then you have to lose those. So anyway, so if you're 4 pounds or more, you're doing fine. Okay, well, tonight what we're going to do is we're going to talk about managing oxidative stress. And this is sort of a tough subject, but we can do it. Now sorry, I'm hitting the wrong button here.
Let's see.
Okay, there's a verse that says, "Behold, I will bring it health and cure, and I will cure them and will reveal unto them the abundance of peace and truth." So God's talking, and once again, he assures us that he's the one that does our healing. If we're doing what we need to do, God does his part and brings us health and a cure, and also abundance of peace and truth. I love that. Okay, remember that the program that we do here is for educational purposes only. Don't do anything we say until you have checked with your doctor, and most of you have already done that, and I'm grateful for that. And so I'd like to begin now with just a short word of prayer. Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you for each person that's here and for the successes that they've been having this week. And I pray that you will just help them to settle in for the long haul and make these lifestyle changes stick. So we just commit them to you. Pray that you will help them to understand and hear the things they need to know from tonight's lecture, and that you will be with them through this coming week. In Jesus' name, amen. So, at the conclusion of this lecture, you should be able to verbalize the dangers of oxidative stress. You should be able to recognize the nature of free radicals and state how to neutralize them.
It's really not complicated. Those are big words, but we'll try to explain it as we go through, and it'll click, and you'll go, aha.
Okay, you will be able to identify the best sources of antioxidants, and then you, before the program is over, you should be able to develop a plan, your own personal plan, on how to put the brakes on oxidative stress. So, that's all coming up.
Okay, Merlin is a young man. He is this gentleman. And when he first got diabetes, he weighed 250 pounds. His glucose was high, running 215. His cholesterol was very high. They didn't remember what it was. His blood pressure was alarmingly high. And his physician started him on metformin. The first thing that he did is he went to a Body for Believers program, and he started losing some weight. He was doing better. He was excited. And when he finished that, though, they said, we need to do something else. We need to keep him going in a program. And so they read actually, it was the front page of the newspaper down in Jasper. And there was a little article about us coming to their community. And so his mother called and signed him up. He came the first night. The first night, those of you that have been here before, we used to do a pasta salad the first night, and I love to put broccoli in it, the green. And the first night, Marlon looked at that food sample, and he got another bowl. It was empty, and he turned it upside down over that, and he left it sitting on the table. Well, at the end of the program, as he's walking out the door, he told Steve, I don't eat the green stuff. Well, Steve assured him that his taste buds would change if he would just try it. So he went home and he reported back to us and he said, I gagged the first few times, but you're right, my taste buds changed and I learned to like it. And so this is Merlin now. After the program, his glucose was down to 79. His cholesterol was down to 94. He was off of the blood pressure medicine. He was off of the metformin. His weight was 166. And what we used to do is we would get together as a group on Saturday once a month, and we would go hiking somewhere. And this is Merlin on a hike with us. They are so excited. This young man actually is diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, which is a very high-functioning autism. But with going through the program and improving his health as much as he had, his dad said, I've known this kid all his life. He's under the best control. He's functioning really well now, better than what he ever had. So they were so excited. Merlin is fun. We invited him to come back to one of our seminars and to help us, because coming back and helping, it just reinforces. Well, he came and he brought his own water bottles. We were using water bottles. When you do the exercises, there are some of the exercises like the punch, punch, punch. If you do it with the water bottle, you get just a little more oomph. He brought his own water bottles, gallon jugs of water. And he was really going to town with his water bottles. He also loves to go to the gym, and he takes the reversal strategy program, it's in your handbooks for next week. Anyway, he takes copies of that and hands it out. You ought to try this, you ought to try that. He's a real missionary for better health. So, oxidation is actually a chemical reaction. If someone stands up front and they eat an apple and then they set it down here, what's going to happen, if they just take a few bites out? Yes, it turns brown. It's going to sit here and turn brown. That's oxidation that's going on. It's when the oxygen interacts with a substance. It happens with a fire, with an apple or pear. It happens with rust or copper turning green. That's an oxidation process. Now, you have seen this graph before, and you probably remember this. The solid red line is the 3 meals a day.
Sugar.
The blood sugar. The peak is following the meals 3 times a day. That is each sugar spike following the meal, and that is when the oxidative stress is most likely to occur. It causes accelerated aging. It causes damage to the blood vessels, the heart attacks, strokes, blindness, all the complications that you're familiar with. This is what happens with the oxidative stress. So it's really important that we understand what it is and how we can control it, how we can neutralize it, we say. So this is a free radical. This is a molecule. And when the electrons are on the outside, and you notice they're paired up on that outside ring, But when it loses one of those, that's when it becomes a free radical. And it acts like a spark. Everything it touches, there's a spark, and it causes burning, and it results in scarring. So the nucleus, the electrons circle it, and if we can figure out what we need to do to stop this cascade. Now, the free radical cascade is when we have a molecule that is a free radical, and it bumps into another molecule, and it steals one of their electrons. It is no longer a free radical because when it steals one and takes it back and puts it on its ring, it's in balance again. But it caused the second molecule to become a free radical. And so down the chain, it goes here down the line. But this chain of reaction we call a free radical cascade. And what ultimately it is doing is it results in damage to the DNA. So it's very important that we stop this. Now, Steve has talked to you before about the tiny furnaces. You have seen the little blue furnaces in the cell. That's actually the mitochondria, the tiny furnaces. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, these tiny furnaces are pictured in red up here on the screen. And right below that, there's a model of a cell there. The nucleus is the hump in the middle, but all these are in the cytoplasm around the nucleus. And some cells don't have many. Other cells have a lot. So it just depends on what the utility of the cell is. But every cell has some mitochondria. And right down below, you see a cross-section right here of a mitochondrium. And there are little leaflets in there, and it's between those leaflets where the sugar molecules are actually metabolized. They're burned to form the energy. And that's the primary place as well where these free radicals are formed.
Thank you. Okay, so how do we deal with these free radicals? Well, there is something in our food and in our bodies that's called an antioxidant. And look at the outer ring on it. It has so many pairs of these electrons that if one is stolen or swiped or transferred over, it neutralizes the free radical. It does not cause the antioxidant to become a free radical, but instead it neutralizes that free radical. And it stops that free radical cascade that we talked about. So oxidative stress is when the body is flooded with free radicals. So much so that the antioxidants that we have in our body can't neutralize all of them. And this is when the blood sugar level is up, the insulin levels are not controlled. It results in inflammation. Inflammation is one of those things that sometimes it's hard to put your finger on it. It's when we first started doing this, I told Steve, it's almost like an enigma. You know it's there, but you can't see it. You can't put your finger on it. Now, if you have a spot of an infection or something, that's a lot of inflammation. That's easy to tell. But when it's all throughout our body, it's hard to tell. But it has, this oxidative stress plays a pivotal role in the development of diabetic complications. The neuropathy pain, cardiovascular disease, kidney failure, and blindness, it causes this premature aging and disease. Now, we have known for more than 100 years, physicians used to treat diabetes with very high doses of salicylates. Now, what's a salicylate? Aspirin. So what happens if you're taking a lot of aspirin? What's the risk that happens with that? Bleeding, GI bleeding. And so it was not a successful long-term treatment. It's one thing to take aspirin for a very short time, but not a long time. So they have had this link, inflammation precedes diabetes. It begins in the fat cells. The fat begins squeezing the mitochondria, and it results in an overproduction of these free radicals. So when we have inflammation of fat tissue, it causes insulin resistance. When we have inflammation of the brain, it causes leptin resistance, and we're going to talk about leptin resistance next week. And when we have inflammation in our gut, it causes both leptin resistance and it causes insulin resistance. So we have an immune response when we have this inflammation. We have redness and swelling, and heat and pain. There's changes to the tissue because the redness and swelling and all, it increases the circulation to whatever site it is that is injured. We also have an increase of white blood cells, which can kill off the invading bacteria, which is what we want when we have a local infection. It is stimulated by bacteria and viruses and foods. There's also environmental triggers as well. So the response may be local, which is usually our body can take care of that much more easily. But it's when we get the systemic, when it gets all through our body, that our body has more difficulty addressing it. Now, if we have the cold, we need extra rest. If we have the flu, it takes a little more response to be able to get rid of the flu. But if we have this oxidative stress that is all through our body, we need a lot more of the antioxidants in order to reverse that. So it's when we get the systemic inflammation in the whole body that it damages the internal organs, the internal tissues. It causes elevated blood pressure, painful, swollen, stiff joints, and it increases insulin resistance. So how do we deal with this? How do we decrease inflammation? Anything that we can do to decrease this inflammation will also decrease the risk of getting diabetes, but it will also help to reverse the disease process. So what can we do to put out the fires of oxidative stress? What do you think we need to do? If the treatment for it to help neutralize is antioxidants, we need to be eating more antioxidants. So where do they come from? Steve?
Well, I asked that question to my computer, and it seems like the computer knows just about everything if you ask the right question. So I said, what foods contain the highest levels of antioxidants? And this is the list I came up with. Now, it's ranked in order from the greatest antioxidant food on down, and it has a number out to the side, like ground cloves, 314,441. That's called the oxygen radical absorbance capacity. And so, if you were to eat a pound of cloves, it would do a great deal about neutralizing oxidative stress. But how many of you can eat a pound of cloves?
No, thank you.
No, thank you, right? And looking down through this list, at first I don't see a whole lot that I would be interested in eating chocolate, but that's the Dutch powder. That's the bitter stuff. Parsley, dried parsley, I do a little bit of that, but there's not a whole lot on that particular slide. Go to the next slide. And now goji berries. I love goji berries. Let's see, dark chocolate, semi-sweet chocolate, pecans. Now we're talking maybe a few things I can eat. Let's see, elderberries. Ooh, they're pretty strong, but maybe it'd make a good jelly. Cranberries, raw cranberries. Ooh, they're tart. Okay, next slide. Now we're talking kidney beans and pink beans and black beans and pinto beans, and there's apples and blueberries and garlic, and now prunes and soybeans and blackberries and raspberries, almonds. This is looking better. Let's see. Hit the right button here. Now we have dill wheat and apples and peaches and raisins and strawberries and peanut butter and cherries. All of these are wonderful foods to eat. Apricots and peanuts and cabbage and broccoli and apples and raisins and pears. But where's the meat? And the truth is, our animal food supply, our meats and our dairy and eggs, those things don't contain many antioxidants. We have a lot of people that are meat and potatoes people in America, but they're not getting the antioxidant loads that they need in sufficient quantities to neutralize oxidative stress. Now, you know, guys, the thing about oxidative stress is it comes on so slowly that most of us don't know that we have it. But it's there doing the damage anyway. And so, you know, by the time you get a diagnosis of diabetes, like I've said before, it's usually about 13 and a half years that your body's been having damage done to its internal organs before you get that diagnosis of diabetes. So anyway, we got a problem here, and that is the oxidative stress problem. So what are we going to do about it? And well, the sources of those antioxidants are green leafy vegetables. That's the ones that contain the most. There's a chuckle in the room. It's like you've seen this list before, haven't you? And this is in the order in which they occur. After the green leafies, your colorful vegetables have a lot. And then your beans and legumes come next. Then the starchy vegetables, fresh fruits, whole unrefined grains, raw nuts, and seeds, in that order. And so those are the kind of things we've got to include more of in our diet. Now, there's a doctor out there. She's one of the leading physicians about lifestyle and disease. Her name is Dr. Brooke Goldner. And Dr. Goldner was in medical school when she was diagnosed with lupus. How many of you know what lupus is? Yeah, we have a few hands around the room. But lupus is it's an autoimmune disease, and it just wreaks havoc with your body. These people will have exacerbations. They will have pain. They will have problems, with thick mucus, and there's just all kinds of things go on with lupus. And so, she really struggled with this, and she was hospitalized several times. They basically told her, you're never going to have kids because you've got too much inflammation related to the lupus. And somebody talked to her one day and said, I really think what you ought to do is you ought to consider hypernutrition. Well, this young medical student decided that she'd study into it, and she did. And she started doing some hypernutrition, which is eating really, really high nutrient foods. And one of the things that she discovered was that her lupus went into remission. And she was completely controlled on it. And so she has made a career, her medical career. She runs an online medical referral service, and people will refer their lupus patients or their patients with autoimmune diseases, with diabetes and other things to her, and she will help them go through the process of mitigating the oxidative stress that's causing the disease, and the problem goes away. And one of the things she talks about doing is a hypernutrition smoothie. Now, the way she does her smoothies, she takes a high-speed blender, any high-speed blender. And she will take green leafy vegetables, and she packs it in. With her fist, she takes it and packs it in until that blender is 3/4 full of nothing but green leafies. I think a great place to start is like with spinach. You go down and get one of those big containers of spinach at the grocery store, or you can get spring mix. It works real well because it's pretty mild flavored, and usually it has things like there will be some spinach, and there will be arugula, and then they usually put in some.
A little Swiss chard.
Swiss chard, that's the one I was trying to think of. Anyway, it's several of these greens in a mixture, and red lettuce will be in there, whatever. You just pack it in until the blender is 3/4 full. Then you add to that about 1/2 cup of chia or flax seeds. Or you can also use walnuts instead, because they're high in omega-3s. And in your body, you have to, if you provide the nutrition that the cells need in order to heal, cells will heal. And the omega-3s are very important in building cell wall structures. And they are not part of the green portion of it. So you have to add that to it. And then if you'll fill the rest of the blender up with fresh seasonal fruit. It might be fresh apples or pineapple.
On the 1/2 cup of chia or flax or the other, right up above, hemp hearts or walnuts, you can do a 1/4 cup of those, or whatever combination you want to get up to the 1/2 cup. But you need the 1/2 cup in order to get those omegas in there that are so healing. Okay, then add your fruit.
Add the fruit, and then you take water and pour water in. That'll slowly rise through all those greens. When you get to the top of the greens with the water, you stop, punch your on button, and let
Put the lid on.
Yes, please. Oh, I didn't do that one day. I mean, it was just disaster. I forgot to put the lid on, and when I punched the go, from the ceiling, all over the cabinets, the floor, the kitchen was a total mess. I mean, we had to do like a stove job on the kitchen. Do what?
Right.
Yeah. So put the lid on and then punch the on button. It takes about 20 minutes to liquefy it.
20 minutes. 20 seconds.
Excuse me. 20 seconds to liquefy it. And then then you drink a pitcher full throughout the course of the day. And she recommends that you do it for 21 days. 21 days. And it will mitigate the oxidative stress. It'll turn that off. But the good benefits of this are you get the hypernutrition. It's relatively low in calories, and
high in fiber.
It is very high in fiber, and it tastes good going down, and it's very high in those antioxidants and the other things that you need for cell growth, cell structure. Can make a difference in the way you feel. You can, because it's high fiber and everything else, you just, if you want to, just divide it into thirds, or you can just, some people, that's what they eat. So anyway, I tell people, if you're going to do this, eat whatever you want, until you're full, and then just stop. But try to get it down in the day.
Question
make it a priority.
here.
Yes, ma'am, Judy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Well, good.
She says she has tried it and it's delicious.
So.
Yes.
It does.
Yes.
It does, but that's for all day long. So a pitcher full a day. There are foods that are immune system activators. And I just love this picture because I have a weakness for donuts. And every time I go into the grocery store, it's like, shall I do one? Shall I do one?
No, he keeps walking.
I just keep walking most of the time. About once or twice a year, maybe 3 times a year, but probably not more than that. I will indulge and I'll buy 1 or 2 or half a dozen, whatever. But anyway, that's not very often treat. Okay, in your cells, if you'll think about this, burning the sugar for energy, you think about the way the cell works. Free radicals, you can liken it to a fire, and the free radicals would be the smoke from the fire. And what happens, when you have something like tires that are burning, you know how it gives off all kinds of smoke? Well, in your body, there's a similar type thing that happens. If you eat a lot of energy-rich food, it gives a lot of smoke like the tires are burning. But if you eat the food that is more scarce on its energy side, then you'll get a clean burn. So I want us to think about the grocery store, and we'll do a virtual grocery store tour. So we walk in the door of the grocery, we walk to the right, we're walking into the produce section. First thing I see is big carrots. I don't like these skinny carrots, I like the big carrots, And so I pick up a 2-pound bag of those and put them in my grocery cart. Is it going to give me a clean burn or a dirty burn? Clean burn, good. I walk down the aisle just a little ways and I pick up a bunch of romaine lettuce. Clean burn or dirty burn?
Clean.
I round the aisle heading down the bean aisle, but on the way I pass a freezer and it has a cheese pizza on sale. I grab one of those and put it in my cart. Clean burn or dirty burn?
You stand there and look at it, saying clean burn or dirty burn. Clean burn or dirty burn.
And so that one would be a dirty burn because it's an energy-rich food, okay? And I go down the aisle and I pull out a can of garbanzo beans and put them in my cart. Clean burn or dirty burn?
Clean.
Clean burn, good. I head down the cracker aisle. I see some whole grain crackers. Okay, probably. It's sort of going to be in the between. It's like going down the chip aisle and I see some baked chips. Well, they're better than the fried chips, right?
It's true.
But there's some foods that are going to be in the in-between. I head down the meat section and I pick up a thing of ground hamburger meat. Clean burn or dirty burn? Dirty burn. I go down the cookie aisle and I get some Oreos and put them in my cart. Clean burn or dirty burn?
Or you stand there and look at them.
Okay, so what happens is if you do this, you just need to keep an eye over your shoulder. Look for the white coats because as they see, as you're going up and down the aisle, you're saying clean burn, dirty burn, clean burn, dirty burn. Somebody may call the
security.
Anyway, no. Just beware of what foods, is this going to produce a clean burn or dirty burn in me? So if it's scarce fuel, it's going to be a clean burn. So that's what we want to do. Now, sources of antioxidants. Some people say, well, I'll just go down to the grocery store and I'll just get a bottle of antioxidants and I'll get my antioxidants that way. Well, think about this. How big is that antioxidant tablet? Not very big. Okay? But there's still other problems with that. We have studied oxidative stress and taking nutritional supplements. And what we discovered is when you take a nutritional supplement, it does not mitigate oxidative stress. In fact, it may actually decrease the length of your lifespan. It may increase your risk of death. They've looked at vitamins C, E, and beta-carotene specifically to see if they would mitigate oxidative stress. They don't do it. And we have to ask ourselves why. Well, glucose. You can't get glucose into the cell unless you have insulin. Okay, to open the door. It's like the cell wall is very selective about what it lets in. And what we think is actually there may be something that is an unidentified as of yet, science doesn't know about it, some kind of transporter that transports these antioxidants into the cell where they can mitigate oxidative stress. Because what we've found is that if you're getting your antioxidants in your fruit and vegetables, it does decrease oxidative stress. It decreases cardiovascular disease. It decreases cancers. It increases your lifespan. So there is some kind of substance in our food supply that acts as a transporter to get those nutrients down into the mitochondria where it can mitigate the oxidative stress. So we can't look to the antioxidant supplements to get our answer there. But what does work? There are several things that work. Number one, we want to prevent free radical exposure. Well, how do we get free radicals? They come from all kinds of sources. Air pollution, harmful chemicals, pesticides, X-rays, yes. You can get it from metabolism even, just simply burning energy for fuel, especially those energy-rich foods. You get a lot of them there. So then you can also provoke antioxidant production because your body will make some antioxidants. And there are about 60 known chemicals that will do it. They're widely available in our food supply. So if you're eating whole foods, you're getting lots of those, and so that will work. Daily moderate exercise. In 1936, Leonard Hayflick was a physiologist that discovered that if you ate 1/3 less, you would live 1/3 longer. So we can eat sparingly, restrict our calories a little bit. And anyway, intermittent fasting also helps us control oxidative stress. Now that you're up to 50 grams of fiber a day, just divide your fiber needs into 2 meals. You eat a breakfast, and about 5 or 6 hours later, you eat a second meal, then don't eat again till the next morning. You sleep while you're most hungry, and usually sleep patterns improve with that regime, but it also helps defat the liver, and it will help as well with controlling oxidative stress. So, we get our antioxidants from a combination of fruits and vegetables, and it even causes spent antioxidants to recharge and increases your ability to deal with oxidative stress. So we need a combination of fruits and vegetables. People today are actually eating nutrient-impoverished diets. We're eating calorie-rich diets, but nutrient-impoverished diets. Now, why is that? And part of the reason is most of our food is processed. As you process your food, you lose your nutrient content. The further you take it away from the plant, the more nutritive value is lost. So if you can grow your own food, go out in the garden, harvest it, eat it fresh. You know how good tomatoes taste, and when they're right out of your yard. Judy knows. She had a tomato plant this year that was so big that she was harvesting tomatoes off a stepladder.
Amazing.
Do what? You did.
You did.
And I remembered it because it was so phenomenal. Anyway, the experts say that 80% of children and adolescents are eating nutrient-impoverished diets. And when it comes to adults, it's 65% of adults are eating nutrient-impoverished diets. So if we do these things that will increase our intake of those fresh fruits and vegetables, especially, that will help us there. So engage in activity after meals. The reason for that is it helps drop the blood sugar, it drops the insulin level, and it decreases that spike, which is the high risk point where you're most prone to develop oxidative stress. Okay? Next slide.
Sidebar there. You notice the children in the picture? Those happen to be 3 of our grandchildren, and the 2 older ones are grown up, and I think you know them. That's Seth and Bethany. Anyway, that's a sidebar for those that know.
Oh, fun. Chronic stress is also a problem. A person that is experiencing chronic stress your body will be dumping out chemicals. And some of those chemicals are free radicals. So it doesn't matter what kind of stress it is, if it's emotional stress, if it's physiological stress, if it's psychological, you need to be able to deal with that. And it decreases the effectiveness of our immune system, it decreases your antioxidant defense network, and it decreases the amount of free radicals that your body naturally produces to deal with those. So we need to have an effective way of dealing with stress. Well, I happen to know the man that wrote the first stress reduction seminar. His name was Herman Johnson, Dr. Herman Johnson. And one of the things he told me, he said, of everything that we know about reducing stress, there's one activity that way up and above everything else is more effective at controlling stress. And that's a walk with somebody at the end of a day. When you get, ladies, you know how your man comes home and he comes in the house and you say, honey, how was your day? And he said, oh, it was okay. And he sits down and picks up a newspaper or he turns on the television or something and buries himself in it. He didn't say anything, did he? And so you ask him again, honey, tell me about your day. That was okay. He really doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want to hash over those problems again. He's stressed. So feed him and then go for a walk. And that walk with somebody at the end of the day, about 20 minutes into the walk, well, we learned a few years ago that men are brain damaged. You knew that all along, right, ladies? Men are brain damaged. When the little fetus is in utero, his brain is bathed with high levels of testosterone, and it destroys a portion of the brain known as the corpus callosum. It's a crossover between the two hemispheres of the brain. So it's the way the right brain communicates with the left brain. But about 20 minutes of walking in the evening will cause those two sides to reconnect. And he'll begin talking. And he'll talk. He'll tell you all about his day. He doesn't want you to solve his problems still, but he just does want you to listen and empathize. And you talk until you get back home, and he'll still be talking because the brain is now reconnected. And you'll go to bed, and you'll have to put a pillow over your head because he's still talking. So anyway, so you can help your man, but it helps him de-stress. Women de-stress the same way, but women are a little different. They talk all day long. You know, you're totally processing all day long. You call up your friend and you talk to your friend on the phone, but you don't want her to, to solve your problems either. You just want somebody to listen. And you're solving the problem. You're dealing with the stress as this happens. So Dr. Polchak has done extensive study about chronic stress and oxidative stress especially. He said excessive psychological stress should be avoided, and we should take time to relax and enjoy the things we like doing. There's a great deal of fulfillment in doing things you like to do. A few years ago, this was before the movie The Bucket List came out, I sat down and I made a list of 50 things I wanted to do before I died. I thought, I'll never do these things. But I wrote them down anyway, European vacation with the family and grand piano in the living room and all these kind of, well, guys, sometimes opportunity comes along. Karen came home one day and she said, well, my boss wanted to know if we might like to join them on a trip to Europe. Well, what's going on? Well, they arranged a family vacation to Europe and they got group rates, but they've had several people back out, and if they don't get a couple extra people to go along, they lose their group rates. And so if you want to go, they'll apply the deposit that they already paid. They'll apply that deposit to your ticket. So we're going for less than what the rest of the family goes for, you know. Well, that sounded like a good deal. So we signed up, and our boys said, oh, I hope you have a good time. But their faces were so long. They were both in college. And so we had a bedroom conference and talked about, well, can we take the boys along? Could we do this? So we added 2 more people, and we went along on 10 days, European vacation. Great time. It's the highlight of the growing up years, was that vacation. I asked the boys, what was the greatest thing, the greatest vacation you ever took? Hands down, they'll say skiing in Switzerland. It just was awesome. So anyway, write down, those are things that you like doing, you know. And one day I just felt impressed. Get online and look. And I got online looking for a grand piano. I wanted an ebony black grand piano. And I looked and looked and looked. There was nothing. A few days later, I looked again. Gotta find one. Gotta find one. And there was nothing there. The next morning, I got up and I had this strong impression. Look online for a grand piano now. One had just been posted. And it was for several $1,000s less than, probably $10,000, $11,000 less than what I would have expected to pay.
A young man owned it, and he was in an apartment that had a lot of sound, and he said, it's too loud, I want it out of here. So we went and brought it home. Just awesome.
Anyway, but those are stress reducers. And for us, for either one of us, to reduce stress, you sit down and play the piano. 30 minutes of the piano just will take care of a lot. For me, now for you it might be a stressor, but for me it de-stresses me. So anyway, then usually I don't recommend supplements because the supplements, when you study people, you go in people's kitchens, and I remember, my brother-in-law, you go into his kitchen and he has a drawer and a whole cabinet above that drawer that are full of supplements, hundreds of dollars worth of supplements. But when you look at the scientific studies, it says these shorten life, these don't help, whatever. But he believes in them. So anyway, I don't. Except for 3. And the scientific studies indicate over and over again, if you have a documented deficiency and then you take a supplement, then it does a lot of good. So I recommend that you go to your doctor and have your doctor check a level. He can draw a magnesium level or CoQ10 level or vitamin D level and tell you, yeah, you're deficient and you need to take a supplement. And he can recommend a dosage for you. But there are 3 supplements that anybody with diabetes really ought to have a conversation with their doctor about. And one is magnesium. It is very common, especially in the southeastern United States. The primary source of magnesium is our water supply, and the water supply in the southeastern United States is low in magnesium. So it's really common for this to be a problem. And so it is required for energy metabolism in the mitochondria, and a deficiency of it will cause free radical formation, causes oxidative stress, or contributes to that. Another one is CoQ10, and the levels of that typically will decrease as we age. So if you're getting older, you may want to, just for that reason alone, have somebody check your CoQ10 level. But it plays a major role in mitochondrial metabolism. And it's important for gene expression as well. So if you're low in that, you would definitely benefit from a supplement there. And vitamin D, we know a low vitamin D level reduces insulin resistance. Anybody that lives about the 38th parallel or above, typically in the wintertime, does not get enough exposure to the sun to get adequate vitamin D. We live in that region. So it may be that you're not getting enough vitamin D, especially in the wintertime. And so talk to your doctor about it. He may put you on something else. Other things that we can do, well, we need a whole lifestyle approach. And this is a very broad subject. I'm just going to touch very lightly on it. But there are some natural remedies. If we take these all together, it's going to make us feel better. And so moderation in everything. You know, you can drink too much water. We call it water intoxication. You need adequate rest, 7 to 8 hours a night, plenty of fresh air. The most polluted air in our environment is the air inside our homes. Open the windows, open the doors, air out the home every day. Get some kind of air exchange. If you have a stove that you're running, it puts out a lot of negative ions, which contributes to the problem of oxidative stress. So crack a window a little bit, get that fresh air moving in, helps the stove draw a little better, and you'll still be warm. Good nutrition, plenty. Eat every color of the rainbow every day. That's so important. Daily moderate exercise. The recommendation is 150 minutes a week to 300 minutes a week. So basically roughly 30 minutes to an hour of exercise a day would be the appropriate amount. Adequate water, 8 to 10 glasses a day. Exposure to sunshine, yes. And it's hard to get too much. There are a lot of people are concerned about skin cancers and the like. It's really, you really would reap more health benefits being exposed to the sun for moderate amounts. You don't want to burn, allow yourself not to burn, but get out there and get the exposure to the sunshine for the benefits there. We could do a whole lecture on each one of these. And finally, trusting God. Someone has a comment? Yes. Yes, they will. They certainly will.
Green plants in the house will help to make the air fresher. Beneficial? Some more beneficial. Do you know what they are? Okay.
Interesting. Snake plant, ivy, and Scheffleria. Now, how would I find it? I guess I can look it up online, Scheffleria.
Online knows everything.
Somebody knows something about it. Okay? So.
And the last one, trusting God.
Oh, yeah, I mentioned trusting God. Trusting God is really important. We're at a time in Earth's history where a lot of people have just discounted this one. I still believe that, it's my personal belief that God created every one of us. And He puts inside every one of us a desire to turn our hearts toward Him. And there have been a lot of benefits from just simply trusting in God. He's the one who heals us, according to our verse tonight. I want to leave you with this picture. We took this picture. We put that together. It cost me over $100 to buy all that food. Shh, don't tell anybody that. Anyway, but it was beautiful. So eat every color of the rainbow every day. Some of the purples, the greens, the yellows, the oranges, the reds, get some of that in. And
Did you eat your $100?
I did.
Oh, we did.
I did, and every bit of it was good.
That was,
You really internalized it.
we did.
I practiced what I preached, didn't I?
That time you did.
Sometimes I fall off the bandwagon too. We all do, but hop right back up and get on with it again. Now you're learning the things that we have to do in order to maintain a life without disease. And, it will take going down this route. It's not the fastest way to get there, but it's a sure way. And so it may take you 3 months, it may take you 6 months, but as long as you're continuing down that route, you're doing your fiber every day, you're getting your water, you're doing some burst training at least 3 times a week, you're doing the walking after meals. Those things, they're all important, but you put them all together, and it's just like You know, the whole food plant-based diet, we learned about interventions that were therapeutic, and there were two of them. You remember what they were?
Really low calorie.
Really low calorie diet or the whole food plant-based route. And so either way you go, you know, those are greater than 50%. You add these other things to it, and you really have something. You know, there was one study that was done about 5 years ago now, and they determined that if a person lost an average of 33 pounds, there was an 85% chance that they would reverse their diabetes. Some people require more than that because they're much heavier than that. But, you know, the average, 33 pounds is sort of a magic number. So 85% will reverse it, that level. So, you know, you start adding exercise and some of those other things there. The American College of Lifestyle Medicine says it's virtually, theoretically, it's virtual 100% chance that anyone with true type 2 diabetes can reverse their disease. That's phenomenal. But anyway, any questions about what we've covered so far? Whew, I must have overloaded somebody. Well, I tell you
It's
what.
time for a drawing.
Yes, let's do a drawing. I see some green leafies up here.
Well, I have some goodies tonight, and also I want to pass around this handout. It's
Okay, you want me to take it and pass it out?
Benefits of nitric oxide, because it's on the subject, in our foods, and some we have tonight.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to pass this plate around, and you can guess which greens are in here. There's 4 of them. There's 2 that have 2 of the same, just one with a red leaf to it. And then when you think you have it, let me know.
Well, there's one. The others are stuck together.
I have the meal in these containers. And the first one, once you can get the glass container, is going to be good. 509. Ticket 509.
Is that you? Woohoo!
Have meal go or something over here? You have greens or, yeah? All right, just watch it. She said to guess what the 4 greens are. If you can identify the 4 greens, raise your hand and let her know. Did you get him? Did you get them? Do you know what the 4 are? No? Okay. 506?
All right.
That's because he needs some, Sandy. What? You did? Good.
All right.
I'm glad when you picked the black-eyed peas, because people are afraid of that, and it's actually good.
It smelled wonderful.
507.
All right.
There's one more dish over here.
And there's one dish here. All right, cooking greens tonight, good for her.
Did you grow those, the greens?
You know, I do have 2 of them in there that I grew. Yeah. Has anybody guessed the 4 yet? Still going around.
It's still going around.
Okay. 505.
This one? Swiss chard.
This one's Swiss chard.
I think so.
So what's this one then? Kale. These two are different. Maybe that one and that one, are they?
Well, the kale, sometimes there's kale that looks like that. I think these are kale.
Both of them are kale, okay.
Spinach,
Spinach, yeah.
collard, Swiss chard. You think? Oh, it looks very similar. Okay.
Okay, so what we have here is Swiss chard, there's two kinds, one with the red leaf, with red stem. That was from my garden.
Hold it up to show us certain ones.
This one,
Collard.
collard greens. So if you had collard greens, that's what this is. You just take it off the stems, clean it real well because it can be sandy. So rinse it 3 times, chop it up, just throw it in your soups. This is the beets.
Yeah, I took it out.
That was from my garden. I got some really big beets. And then there's kale. So this one is like a red stem kale that I have in the garden. This was in the store. Now, I didn't bring the other one, but there's another kale that's called Lesiento, and it's an Italian called elephant ear. And it grows pretty big. I've grown that before. It's kind of plain. It's not curly. That's also very good too, and you can use that in a lot of different foods. So,
Spinach.
Swiss chard.
Another Swiss chard.
Yeah, so I had 2 kinds. One was the red tip and then plain collard greens, beets, kale. All right, good.
That was fun.
Did we have? So you had one more thing in I have one more of this. This is the collard greens. So somebody who made the best progress today, I'll give it to.
I don't know.
Let's see. Let's talk about pounds lost. How many pounds did you lose this week? This week. 2? 2? Anyone more than 2? 3? All right, she gets the greens. Pounds gained? Well, you have to bring me the things for pounds gained, see? All right, that's good. All right, let's exercise. All right. Mike's back at the back of the room this time. And Gary's the most vigorous one in the room. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it, but anyway. Oh, it's all good, right? Okay. So let's get our arms out and let's start turning them around, rolling them forward. If you want to be more vigorous, go bigger circles. Watch your shoulders. If you have a problem with your shoulders, you might need to do little circles instead of big circles. Okay, go backwards. All right. For how many seconds now?
Okay, well, you're at 24,
24.
25, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30.
Is your blood beginning to flow? Yep. Yeah, I can feel it too. All right. So until we catch our breath, and then we'll do another.
Who's out of breath?
Nobody yet. We're just getting warmed up. All right, so we're going to no jump jacks. That will be our next exercise. Are you ready to go? Here we go. It's almost like gym class again, isn't it? Sometimes it takes a little while to get used to it, get coordinated doing it.
25, 26, 27, 28, 29,
30. Okay, back to active rest. Oh, so much fun. How many people did their burst training this week? One. Okay.
That's better than that.
All right, we're helping with the third one right now. Okay. All right. This time, we're going to reach for a toe. Alternate side, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. If you want to go more vigorously, you can go faster or you'll go further. Just do what you're able. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Back to active rest.
People out of breath.
Yeah. I'm one of them.
The fan felt really good earlier, Debbie. It's hot up here. I don't know how other people feel. It did cool down and it felt better.
Okay. You about to catch your breath?
Are you?
Almost. Almost. All right, we're going to take an elbow and go to the opposite knee. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, yeah. That's stirring things up a little bit.
I think it's easier for you all to do this than it was the first time. 25, 26, 27, 28,
Okay.
29, 30.
Back to active rest. We're going to do one more round. Okay. This next round, we're going to get a little vigorous. Okay. We're going to do some punches while we run in place. Yes, that's right. So, you have a beef with the one next to you? Punch him. Okay, we're going to start out with some curls. So here we go. So curl, curl, curl. Curl, curl, curl. Yes. Now we need to lift, lift, lift. You can put water bottles in your hand or a can of peas or corn or something like that. Okay, now punch, punch, punch. And out to the side. And then for the hard one.
26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
Woohoo! Yes. Give yourself a pat on the back now. Good job. All right. Now, you can go back to your seats. And our topic next week will be managing gene expression. So you've heard that there's a genetic link with diabetes. It's there. Our text for today, this evening, I have seen his ways and will heal him. Another promise, love that. And will lead him also and restore comforts unto him and his mourners. Well, that's interesting. As we get together and get in our coaching groups, I want you to discuss the dangers of oxidative stress with your group, and then identify any recent situation where you feel that you were exposed to free radicals.